Hello and welcome everybody to the Blogging Your Passion show. I'm your host, Jonathan Milligan. Today is all about Facebook Live video. So if you have been scrolling through your Facebook newsfeed anytime lately, you've seen that videos are becoming increasingly more popular. In fact, Facebook Live videos, I think, are being featured and placed in front of us more now than ever before because they're really trying to grow this new platform. And so today I want to share with you 17 Facebook Live video tips you can use for better results. And this comes from me experimenting, trying different things out. I had things that were a disaster, had other things that proved to work well. And so we've got a power-packed list of tips. Now, if you are worried about trying to write all these down, or if you don't want to write all these down, I am going to give you a link right now that you can go to and actually get my PDF with all the tips. So you can print them out and you can use this as you do maybe your first Facebook Live video, or maybe you've been doing it, but maybe you want to improve. Well, then you're going to want to have this PDF checklist. So if you want to get this PDF checklist of 17 tips for more views and better results, then go to bloggingyourpassion.com/Facebook Live. Again, it's bloggingyourpassion.com/Facebook Live. All right, so let's jump into these tips. If you're watching over on YouTube and watching the video, you may see me look off screen. It's because I don't have all 17 of these memorized, but I do want to deliver them over to you. So tip number one, don't be too close to the camera. So this is a mistake I see a lot of people making with Facebook Live, is they have their phone that they're broadcasting from and they're holding it less than 12 inches from their face. And it's, you know how it is. You know those people who sometimes they get a little too much in your personal space when you're having a conversation with them at the grocery store, at work, or at church. And it's like, you're invading my personal space. That's kind of what it's like with video. Even right now, as I'm recording this video for those watching on YouTube, I have the camera at least 2.5 feet away from me, so that I'm not invading too much of your personal space. So that's tip number one. Tip number two is to watch for the shaky hand. So a lot of people with Facebook Live, they're holding it in their hand or they're walking around and talking with it, and the camera is shaking a lot because their hand is moving and shaking and it's hard to hold it still. And you're making us motion sick, right? We feel like we are trying to watch the video, but it's difficult, it's distracting. So I recommend getting a tripod. Get a tripod that you can put it on. If you don't have a tripod, maybe you have a selfie stick that can hold it and that can make it a little bit more stable for you. Tip number three, let your light shine on your face. So make sure that before you broadcast and you go live, that we can actually see your face. I've seen several in my news feed of people who their face is almost completely dark and they're trying to do this whole sharing of content or doing a live Q&A and it's hard to see them. Or they've got the window behind them and the light's coming in too bright, or too much light shining on one side of their face. Now listen, I'm not obsessive about this, but if anything, what you can do if you're indoors, one thing you do is go outdoors. There's more natural light there. But if you are indoors, then you can place the window behind you so that the light shines evenly on your face if you don't have a lighting system. All right, number four, tip four, be aware of your background. So before you go live, take a quick look at your background. You know, right now I've got like a bookshelf behind me and all that, and it's not, hopefully not too distracting for you. But I've seen a lot of people, they go on Facebook Live and behind them is dirty laundry, or there's a whole pile of messy dishes, or it's just the background so distracting that it takes away from the message. So before you go live, just take a quick look at your background and make sure that everything is good to go. All right, tip number 5. place the camera lens just above your eye level. So you can't see my camera right now on the video, but I've actually got it just above my eye level. And the reason why you want to do this is because you don't want to do what most people do by accident, and that is they kind of take their phone in their hand and they just hold it down like they're using the phone. Like if you're using it to text or to email, you look down on your phone. But when you're looking down on a video, you come across more harsh. You come across more like you're talking down to people. But when you raise the level of the camera, now we've got it just above the eyebrow level. We are raising our eyebrows. We're looking up. It can even slenderize us a little bit if we want to be like that. And so place it up so that it's less intimidating to your audience. Okay? Tip number 6, don't let the airplane fly over. So this is just a general video tip that I learned a couple years ago, and it served me well. And hopefully you can see this in the video if you're watching the video. You don't want to have a whole lot of space above your head where it looks like you're very short and even distracting because there's so much space above your head. So the general rule that they talk about in video production is, can an airplane fly over? If there's so much space that it looks like an airplane could fly over your head, then bring the camera lens down just a little bit. Okay, tip 7, don't cut off the top of your head. So the opposite is also something you need to think about. And it may sound like we're being a little nitpicky here, but there's actually techniques that people in the film industry use. And watch it when you're watching your next show, your next crime mystery show, or some type of a show that involves criminals. A lot of times what they do is they'll cut off the top of their head in the video, and it gives off this feeling of mistrust or deception, or they're not being truthful with me. So make sure when you're doing your video, it's not so low that it's cutting off the top of your head. Tip 8, place your notes within direct sight. Now, obviously for this video, I'm not doing that because I have a long list of tips. But if you're jumping on a Facebook Live and you want to talk about 3 reasons why you should do something, and you're trying to remember what those 3 reasons are, a little tip that you can use is write it on a little Post-it note and stick it right on the tripod, or stick it in direct sight of where your camera is. Another little trick that I do is I have a couple whiteboards in my home office, and I'll jot down a couple of notes that I want to remember, just little starters of maybe an outline of a talk that I want to do on a Facebook Live. And I'll place that directly behind the camera so I can still look at the camera and know what my next cue is. Okay? All right, number 9, pick a compelling headline or question for a title. So I've noticed this with Facebook Live that you actually can get more people intrigued in your video, because remember, if you remember scrolling through Facebook, it'll show that a person's live and it'll show the video moving but without sound. And so they'll need to actually click on it to get the sound and start listening to what you're saying. One way you can get that click is by creating a intriguing question or a compelling headline. So one of the video views that got me the most views in recent days was a video I did on how do I know if I have the right topic for a membership site, or how do I know that my topic is ideal for a membership site. And so that created curiosity for people who have interest in running a membership site. And so it, in my opinion, I think that's what drove a lot more of the views, because it had a compelling headline or an intriguing question. Tip number 10, promote before you broadcast. So I found that I was able to generate a lot more live views and shares when I did 2 things. First of all, step 1 is I posted on the Facebook page that I was about to go live within the next hour. So I would put something like, hey guys, at 2 o'clock p.m. Eastern, I'm going to go live on Facebook on this page, and I'm going to be talking about, and then share what I'm talking about. That way, if someone saw it, it kind of got them interested to stick around or to be looking for the video, or come visit the Facebook fan page and make sure that they started watching the video. Step 2 on this tip is, if you have an email list, let them know about it. So there's been a couple of instances where I've actually emailed my list and said, hey, I'm about to jump on Facebook Live. Here's what we're going to talk about. Come join the conversation. And that drove traffic to it, which then they can share, they can let other people know about it, and it kind of grows organically. So promote before you broadcast. Tip 11, syndicate your live video feed. So the word syndicate means to be in multiple places at once. Now, there's actually, right now at the time of this recording, there's not a way to do this using Facebook, but there is a software solution that I use called LiveLeap. Now, you can go check it out, bloggingyourpassion.com/LiveLeap. Now, that is my affiliate link, but what it does is it gives you the ability to connect your Facebook. And if you have multiple Facebook pages or Facebook groups that you own or are a part of, you can actually broadcast or syndicate across those multiple channels all at the same time while you're live. So here's an example. I like to broadcast from the Blogging Your Passion Facebook page, but by using LiveLeap, it also broadcasts on my Jonathan Milligan Facebook fan page. It also broadcasts on my Fast Track Lab members Facebook group page. It also broadcasts on a Kindle Your Passion for writers Facebook group that I started. And so literally when I go live on one Facebook fan page, I end up on 2 other Facebook fan pages that I own and about 5 different groups. You say, why is this significant? Because you might obviously have other people that aren't on your main Facebook fan page and they would not know about it otherwise. So I'm able to be in multiple places at once. It's a pretty slick software and I've enjoyed using it so far. So again, you can check that out at bloggingyourpassion.com/LiveLeap. Okay, tip 12, have a conversation with the live viewers. So while I like to use Facebook Live to deliver content, I also want to make sure that I'm engaging people who are showing up live. So mentioning their name, answering their question, commenting on their comment. It's meant to be an interactive tool. So if you want to do that without being distracted, one thing you can do is jump on a Facebook Live and say, hey guys, today I'm going to talk to you about 3 reasons why you should do an early morning work session at 5 a.m. So I'm going to deliver this to you, and go ahead and be putting your questions in there. In just a little bit, once I get through these 3 tips, at the end, I'm going to come back and answer your questions and have kind of an after show party. So you can deliver it that way if you want, or you can just jump on Facebook Live without a structured approach and make it a live Q&A where you're just having conversation and answering questions with your audience. All right, tip number 13, share an email opt-in or buy now links in the chat. So this is super important. If you can have an assistant do this, great. If you can't, try to do this when you first start your Facebook Live so that it's already in the comments section. But if you have a particular opt-in that you're doing that's related to your Facebook Live, that's super smart. The reason why is because we want to convert these Facebook fan page visitors or Facebook viewers into email subscribers. And so much like I did today, in fact, I said, hey, here's the 17 tips, but if you want them all in a handy PDF that you can print out as a resource, then go to bloggingyourpassion.com/Facebook Live. Or another thing that I like to do is I like to use a text option, which is the next tip. Tip number 14, share a text to email opt-in option. So I like to use lead digits with lead pages. And what this does is it allows me to do something like, hey, text the word Facebook to 44222, and I will deliver this checklist to you. And so that's an example of how you can do that. And the reason why is it's super smart because most of the time you have people who are using their mobile phone while they're watching your video. So for them to pause the video, open up their messages, and actually text their email address to you, you can deliver them a free resource and you've gained an email subscriber. You can also, if you mention a course or a coaching program, something that you have, then you can also deliver that in the comments section of your Facebook Live and get orders. And I have experimented with that and had people purchase through me because I mentioned a product that I have that maybe they didn't know about. Okay? All right. We got 3 tips left. I know we're going through this and there's a lot of information to consume. But again, if you're trying to write all this down, don't worry about it. Just go to bloggingyourpassion.com/Facebook Live and I will deliver this best practices checklist to you in a handy PDF. Tip 15, boost your post for more views. So this is a cool experiment that I've done on a couple of instances where after my Facebook Live video was done, I decided to boost that to my fans and also their friends or people like that are similar to the people that are following me. And the cool thing is I have seen, I've spent like $30 to boost a post just as an experiment. And I've gotten a couple thousand views. In fact, one I got 2 cents per view. Another one was 1 cent per view. And think about that. For those of you who feel like you don't have an audience or you don't have a way to spread your message, do a Facebook Live video. Even if only 5 or 10 people show up or 2 people show up, at the end of that video, don't be discouraged because you can boost that and put it in front of a couple thousand people for just a few dollars. And think about that if you use the last technique that I talked about with email opt-in or a buy now link. Now we're really ramping up the ROI in what we're doing, right? Because if we have a course that is $200 and we spend $100 boosting that post to 4,000, 5,000 people, we just need one person from those 4,000 or 5,000 views to purchase to not only make our money back, but then some. Okay? So it's a super smart option. I definitely would encourage you to experiment with this to get more views. Tip 16, save the video recording for YouTube. So I'm all about repurposing. In fact, this is what I'm doing right now. I wrote a blog post on this, which is the 17 tips. I am recording a video and audio, obviously at the same time. The audio is becoming a podcast. The video I'm doing is going on YouTube. And then also I will be doing, in this instance, I'm going to be doing a Facebook Live later, but I've done it where I've done it all together. So when you do a Facebook Live video, as soon as you're done, your smartphone, and iPhone in my case, will ask you, do you want to save this to your camera roll? I say yes, because then I can upload it directly to YouTube. And now people can find this episode on YouTube as well. It's a super smart strategy for repurposing and expanding and amplifying the content you're already doing. Finally, tip 17, participate in comments after the video. So we know that one of Facebook's algorithm factors that are super important are comments on posts. So the more comments that there are typically on a post on Facebook, typically Facebook shows that to more of your fans. So if you do a Facebook Live and people comment or they ask questions, after the live video, get back in there and start continuing the chat. Ask them follow-up questions, get them to comment, add more resources, create more content in the comment section to really begin to get that going, because you'll find that you'll be able to get more organic views when you do more comments. So hopefully there's been some tips in there that you haven't thought about. And maybe you say, Jonathan, I haven't done Facebook Live at all, but now I'm excited, then good. That's what we want. But again, if you're like, I can't remember all these, it becomes second nature when you just use this checklist and you go through it. And some of it's about setup and making sure that your setup's right, like we talked about in the beginning. Other parts is just getting in a flow and knowing what you're doing during and after your Facebook Live. So again, if you want the checklist, all you got to do is go to bloggingyourpassion.com/Facebook Live. Well, listen, if you're over on YouTube, I want to encourage you to hit subscribe. We've got more videos like this to help you grow your audience, and we're constantly adding new content that's going to help you. And at the same time, if you're over on iTunes and you're listening to podcasts, thank you so much. Would love it if you would take a moment and rate us, give us a review so more people can hear about our mission here at Blogging Your Passion. And by the way, if you don't know our mission, it's real simple. We want to help 1,000 bloggers go full-time in the next 5 years. And we want you to be one of those 1,000. So if that is a desire for you to live a lifestyle business, work from wherever you want, anytime you want, then follow us on this journey. We want to help you to make that leap, to make that journey to becoming full-time and working from home. That's it for now. Thank you for joining us.